going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of The Campaign Grind. I am Pedro Diaz. I am your host. This is Rey Valdez. What's going on, brother? He wants to be called the co-host. I don't know why he wants to be called the co-host.
You call me the host, too.
It's all good. It's all good. Listen, sharing is caring. Guys, thank you very much for tuning into this week's episode of The Campaign Grind. As always, as I start every single episode, this episode of The Campaign Grind is for everybody. We do not discriminate. Whether you're an entrepreneur, you're an attorney, you're a lobbyist, you're a candidate, you're a consultant, whatever it is you are, this podcast is for you, or this episode is for you. I guarantee you're going to find different gold nuggets and useful information that you could implement into your everyday life here on these episodes. So if you're an avid listener, thank you guys very much for the love and the support. I appreciate it. If this is your first time tuning in, I guarantee you're going to think this is a badass episode. So without further ado, we are going to dive right in. One of the things I want to talk about today, Ray, is actually patience. For those of you that actually watch or follow us on Instagram, Twitter, on all social media platforms, today I put out a video regarding patience, all right? The reason why is because I get a lot of I come across a lot of candidates, and I come across a lot of young students that approach us or speak to us and ask us, listen, you know, I wanna fucking rule the world, you know, tomorrow. I wanna make $1 million tomorrow, or I wanna get elected without putting in the hard work. What do I gotta do? And before I go into what I say, I wanna get Ray's take. The reason why is because there's a Spanish saying that goes, "Más sabe el diablo por viejo que por diablo." What does that mean? How would you translate that? That the devil knows more because he's old than because he's a devil. So I'm gonna go with experience here, and I'm gonna ask Ray. And I don't listen. I'm just joking. I love Ray.
Is that a special question for me?
He's family. So I just wanna ask him. You know, what do you have to say? All right. What would you tell one of these young bucks, one of these young entrepreneurs, one of these young candidates, one of these young people that want to get involved in politics or business, even if you want to start in business, because you've owned several businesses yourself, about patience? What can you tell them right now about patience and what they can expect?
Well, you know, the older you get, the more patience you develop, I believe. However, talking about patience, you know, when we start in a business, if you're referring to that, when you are starting a business, you think you know a lot of stuff, and you think you know a lot about the business you're going to start. However, it's not the same thing, and many companies make a mistake to take a good salesman or a good salesperson out of the sales force and make him a manager, or you know, or the supervising authority in the enterprise, and that's a big mistake. Someone who knows the inside of sales and so on, not necessarily is going to be a good manager or a good employee supervisor, whatever you want to call them. So there's a lot to learn if you're starting your own business with regards to patience and listening a lot. And growing with a business, because it's not the same thing to have a lot of knowledge about the product you're going to handle, whether it's food or you're going to represent any kind of other company, or it's a non-tangible like insurance or
Absolutely.
Or other things than owning a business and managing that business. So I say you have to develop a lot of patience.
A lot of patience, and I guess a lot of people, a lot of the young, I guess, entrepreneurs, even the young candidates, okay? But right now, let's talk a little more about business, because I actually got asked this question last night, and that's why I put out that video, and I want to talk to you guys about this patience topic, right? You've owned businesses, and, you know, to be quite frank with you, a lot of these young bucks, a lot of these young entrepreneurs or people believe that, you know, $1 million is a lot of money. Now, don't get me wrong, $1 million, that's a shitload of money. That's a lot of cash. $1 million is a lot of cash. But when you really think about it, $1 million will really only last you 4, 5, 6, 7, less than 10 years, depending on how you use that money. So when these young entrepreneurs and candidates or business people come up to you and say, listen, I want to make $1 million tomorrow. I want to, be a multimillionaire by the time I'm 25. All right, it's not going to happen. The reality is that you're going to have to put in the work, okay? Rey, he's done several hundreds of millions of dollars deals in real estate. And that money comes in and it comes out. But the thing is that money, he doesn't get those deals, or you don't make that money overnight. How long did it take you before you passed $500,000 or $1 million in sales?
Well,
was it the next year that you started the business?
You have to really, when I started, of course, like most people, you start in the industry.
Absolutely.
You're working for somebody else, or you're working for some corporation or someone. You're developing your knowledge through. A lot of people come from the sales end of sales, not come from the educated or education field. Into the sales aspect. So a lot of companies do their own training. They prefer to have someone who really is new to the business so they can train him in their own way.
I agree.
The other aspect is the fact that, if you're starting a business, you better have a good budget. You better have a good, backup of cash to protect yourself from folding up too soon.
Absolutely.
A lot of people, like I always say, 100 businesses open up every day and 400 close doors.
Yep.
Because, a lot of people fail to plan. They come in, they rent a place, or they start a business and advertising and rent and all other, supplies and equipment and everything else. And 6 months later, they are out of cash. And that's very common. Don't think that that's that's rare. No, that's very common. So the fact is, if you're going to start a business, make your budget and make sure your budget covers all the angles that you need to cover, and for the length of time that that you have educated yourself to the fact that the business will be paying for itself.
Yep.
Not that you keep pumping money into the business.
Absolutely.
If you don't have the cash to roll out on a business, I would say find yourself an angel partner, or find yourself somebody, a relative or someone that's going to go in with you, maybe a silent partner who believes in your capabilities to run that business and so on, and have the money available before you start. Because you don't want to go out halfway through the thing and say,
and
wow,
end up bankrupt.
I didn't have, I didn't expect the things, because the things that will break you are the unexpected. You
Absolutely.
plan for certain things, and then all of a sudden the unexpected show up, and you didn't cover for yourself for those, and that drives you to the ground.
Absolutely.
Even you're getting sick, and you have no health insurance. And then you can't continue operating the business, and here 3, 6, 8 months later, you find yourself in a position where personally you yourself cannot continue running the business. These are things that we all fail to plan.
Absolutely. And as you said, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So you're telling me and you're telling them that it does not take, or you will not start making money in your business. Because it didn't happen for me. I'm going to be quite frankly. I didn't start making money in the business probably until a few years ago, a couple of years ago. All right, we started this business in 2009, and we've been going strong. And in every business, you always have your ups and the downs. You're learning the ropes. You're trying to figure out your routine, your niche, what you're going to do, how you're going to do it. So don't think that just because you open up a business, you're going to start making money. Is that true?
And you won't.
You won't.
Most of the time you won't, unless you're buying a franchise who's already
Absolutely.
a well-established business, or well-established name and so on. But I say the first year to 2 years, you're going to be putting money into the business to keep the doors open.
Absolutely.
Even if you're somewhat maybe breaking even sometimes and so on, because your emotions, your heart play a big part in your opening that business. And then you just want to, you're anxious, you want to move forward, you want to, jump in and get your doors open and so on. Don't do it. Wait till you're really ready and plan and budget to do this.
Absolutely. So you guys are probably asking yourself, Pedro, what the... Just kidding. I almost said it. What in the world does this have anything to do with politics and campaigns? Well, it has everything to do with politics and campaigns, especially when you're running for office. As I tell every single one of our clients, and I've said it in numerous occasions in these episodes, every campaign is and should be run as a business, okay? Instead of selling a product or instead of selling a service, you're selling an idea, a platform, an individual, okay? So you need to make sure that you run your campaign the same way you run your business, all right? And patience, we already talked about patience for entrepreneurs and starting up a business and so on and so forth, right? But now, I want to talk to you guys about the patience in the campaign. Because you have people, and I have people that come through these doors every single day, maybe not every single day, maybe every other day, and say, I want to run for mayor of this town. I want to run for governor of this state. I want to run for senator. You know, not even state senator. They want to run for U.S. Senate.
What about U.S. presidency? You've had them.
Well, okay, yeah. Well, yes. Yes, we have. Yes, we have. But, you know, it's we have. And, dude, now I just lost my train of thought.
It's true.
Yeah, well we have, all right? So basically what happens is they come in wanting to shoot high, run for these big, crazy seats, okay? When, number one, they don't know how the system works. They don't know how forget about campaigns. They don't know how government works, okay? There's a lot of red tape when it comes to government. There's a lot of different obstacles once you start running for office, and fundraising is one of those biggest things. So patience. You as a candidate, you're running for office because you want to make a difference. You want to make your community better, a better place for you, your family, your kids, your grandchildren. But you got to come back here and have a little bit of this word that we're talking about today, patience. The reason why is because a lot of people, you know, want to do these great big things, and I'm not against that. I'm one of those people. I want to conquer the world. You know, I want to dominate and make a monopoly of this business. You know, I want to make sure that when people think about running for office, the first name that they think about is Diaz Campaigns. And that's fine. But the thing is that you need to understand, you need to earn your stripes, you need to pay your dues, you need to see how things really work. You need to look at the big picture. A lot of people want to run for office just to say that they're running for office, you know, say that they're running for mayor, but in reality they don't know how to run a legitimate campaign, how to fundraise or anything like that. So, which brings me back to the patience thing, okay? You got to play the long game. A lot of people play the short game. The reason why, to show off on social media, you know, have money to go out clubbing, go out to nice little restaurants, you know, the fluff. But the ones that actually play the long game, the ones that are hustling and busting their ass and really working, okay, for tomorrow, are the ones that really end up making a difference, okay? So, Rey, aside from being an entrepreneur, he was also a candidate, okay? He ran for a good seat, a state representative seat here in the state of Florida. So what happens is that we want to give you guys an idea of exactly what it takes, okay? So I'm going to throw it here to Rey regarding the patience aspect of it. Rey, when you ran, you know, because he spoke to me several times, like, listen, I want to run for office, I want to do X, Y, and Z, so on and so forth. And that's how we came up with this idea to run for this seat that he ran for. Because you got to start somewhere, you got to have patience. Very few people actually get elected the first time around. Very few people get elected the very first time around. So that's when patience comes in, and you need to have a lot of that patience in this business. Rey, what can you talk about patience in campaigns?
To begin, I don't want people to get confused with regards to patience and thinking that patience refers to, you know, take it easy, you know, don't be aggressive, don't be enthusiastic, don't have all your emotion and your things involved. No, on the contrary, patience means to, you know, to understand the timely pace of a campaign, or the timely pace of what, you know, you're going to do. And one of the most important things that I see, and the same thing as we were talking about in business, is the fact of a budget. If you're going to run, you better be prepared to raise money. If you know, a lot of people want to run because they got their own money, and they think that with the money, just the money, they're going to go out there And I
conquer the world.
I am going to conquer the world because I got the bucks to pay for a campaign, and the campaign is going to cost me a couple $100,000 or 100,000 or whatever it is, depending upon the what office elected office you're running for or you're campaigning for, and that's a big mistake. It's like the actual I want to call it a job of being an elected official. The actual job of being an elected official, even if you know about government, has nothing to do, and I learned that from you, and I learned that during my campaign, has nothing to do with getting elected.
Yep.
Getting elected and being an elected official are two very different things. Being a candidate, having the patience, having the structure, the budget, and working with somebody like you, and you helped me a lot, and guiding me on things, and all this stuff. I really thought I thought about it in a whole different way. I thought that because I was a community activist, advocate all my life, and I worked in the community so much, and I was going to better the world. I was going to make America great again, like Trump says, and so on. I thought that was going to get me elected.
Yeah.
And then also I ran. I thought, well, the incumbent on that seat is running for Senate, so that state rep seat is going to be open. So I wasn't going to run against an incumbent. So I thought, wow, I have a great opportunity here. Things didn't work out that way. 2 or 3 other candidates show up. The person who was in that seat decided not to run for Senate after all, and came back and ran for another term in his own office. So I was running against an incumbent, and all these things came together. And we know the final results of that. But the fact is, being in a campaign has nothing to do with your resume. Your resume is good, that says what you've done in the community, who you are, etc. That's great. People have some basic information regarding you. But running the campaign, don't make the mistake of thinking, oh, I know, I'm computer savvy, I
can do it,
techie on the internet, and I can do it, and I know everything. No, you don't. I'm guaranteeing you, you don't. And the timely pace, the patience required to control the whole aspect of a campaign has nothing to do with the job you're going to do after you get elected as an elected official, not a candidate from a specific political party and that kind of thing. So you better be ready, and you better be patient.
Be ready, be patient. Guys, if you got anything, guys, girls that you're watching, if you got anything valuable from this episode of the Campaign Grind, it's patience. Okay, be patient. Things don't happen overnight. Success does not happen overnight, and campaigns are definitely not won overnight. Be willing to do what others aren't willing to do today, so you could do whatever the fuck you want to do tomorrow. All right, guys. As always, you could get a copy of the Campaign Grind booklet on Amazon.com. It's less than $10. Amazon.com. This is the booklet. Yes, it's a real booklet, guys. It's got its own ISBN number and everything. Amazon.com, Campaign Grind booklet. Make sure to check it out. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to give us a call. 305-860-1010. 305-860-1010. Shoot me an email, pedro@diazcampaigns.com. pedro@diazcampaigns.com. And as always, this episode of the Campaign Grind was brought to you by Global Compass Real Estate. For all of your real estate needs, Global Compass Real Estate, 786-326-8885. Ray, thank you very much. Guys, thank you very much for tuning into this week's episode of the Campaign Grind. I am Pedro Diaz, signing out.